morning! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Izzy Bisges and I am so happy that you are here. I am going to go over a lot of questions that y'all have had over my study abroad trip and me living in London, traveling around Europe. I posted that I wanted to wrap up my study abroad experience and wanted to hear questions from y'all. So I posted a response on my Instagram story and I got so many responses, so many questions, so I'm going to answer all of them. And then I also posted on the YouTube community on my channel. There was a few questions and comments on there, so thank you so much for commenting and also just following along on my journey to be able to ask these questions. So let's get to it. First of all, it has been a lovely morning. Sun is out, it's beautiful, it's summertime. Harry Styles just released his album today, so we have been jamming out to that in the house. We've had it on repeat. I think my favorite song so far from the album is Satellite. I just like it. I think it's really vibey and really cool. But other than that, I'm going to pull out this list of questions and let's get right to it. Also, look how cute this coffee mug is that I have my coffee in right now. It's from Starbucks, but I like the little red telephone booth. Okay, so here is the list. So bear with me. I'm going to cut up this YouTube video so you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just jump to a specific question and let's get started. So first question, do you wish you traveled more or less while you were in London? I feel like I traveled the perfect amount. I started to travel less at the end of my study abroad because I got accepted into the master program and I accepted the spot. So I knew I was coming back to London this fall. A lot of my friends, they were trying to get in as much as they can because they're going back to America and they're going back to college. So they're not going to be able to hop on a plane that's less than $100 and fly to Italy. So I am gonna be able to do that because I'll be back in London. Question number 2, what thing took you the longest to get used to in London? Walking on the left side and driving. Even though I didn't drive, it was really weird being in a car where they were on the left side. So I would say those two things it took the longest to get used to. Question number 3, did you date a British guy? No, I did not go on a date with a British guy. Yeah, that's it. Simple. Question number 4, have you experienced any reverse culture shock from being back in the US? Yes, I have. It was really weird being back. I think the first week when I was walking through the airport when we landed in Atlanta, I was walking on the left side and my mom was like, hey Izzy, you gotta get over, we're walking on the right side now, you're not in London anymore. It's just so different here compared to London. Everything is not close to you like it is in London. The shopping isn't as good as London. And I'm living in a city, so that's why it's very different. It's not that it's London versus my town in Georgia. They're not very comparable because of how different they are. And I'm back to a slower pace of life. When I was in London, I would do at least 3 things a day. Like I'd get up, go out, do so many things, and then I would not get back to my room until it was time to put my head down and go to sleep. So here, it's a very slow, I can kind of do whatever I want on my days. I'm about to start working again, and it's just a slow pace of life, very lake life, very relaxed, very nice, and I feel like this is gonna be a blessing in disguise. Even though I really wanna go back to London, I feel like this is a good refresher for me to be with my family, friends, going back to what's comfortable until I can be uncomfortable again. So, is it expensive to travel to all the other European countries you visited? So I actually went over this question in one of my videos. I think it was the comparing video. It is not as expensive as the States, and that's all I will say about that. I think I go in a little bit more detail in that video, so go ahead and check that video out. Number 7, how did it feel to be away from your family for so long? I really did miss my family. I love my family, I'm close to my family, but it did not ruin anything for me. It did not overwhelm me at all. I miss them, I think in an appropriate amount, but if it was my choice, I would stay in London even longer. I wish I could still be there right now. And it was really good seeing my parents when they visited, and that was enough to kind of keep me going. but I just feel like I am such in an independent stage right now that I didn't really miss them as much as maybe you think you would. So that's really good to know though, because I'm having my own life, I'm doing my own experiences. That was really nice to feel that I can be on my own and be okay with just being on my own. Number 8, did your trip live up to your expectations? Yes, it lived up to my most extravagant expectations. I loved my time in London, so much so I'm moving back. I had such a fun time and it went by so fast. Time flies when you're having fun, but I miss it. I have so many movie moments that happened to me, and you guys know I journal everything. I journal all the time. I could seriously write a novel from my journal of all the experiences I've been through, but I had some amazing, I'd say, movie moments. I feel like you can romanticize your life, and don't let anyone tell you that your life can be a movie, because it can be. It is all about how you perceive reality. And if you're thankful for the little things and you be in the moment, romanticize little things, your life is a movie. We had a really fun movie moments. We have so many stories that happen and we didn't expect them to happen. We met so many cool people, especially on our trips when we traveled. It's just something I will never forget. So if someone's asking this because you're thinking about studying abroad, absolutely do it. When I didn't study abroad, I would look at the study abroad people and they'd come back and they'd be like, oh my gosh, study abroad changed my life. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. They are absolutely true. Studying abroad changes your life. It should be required for everyone to study abroad. I'm a different person now. I totally feel like my whole life trajectory, it changed. I'm moving to London and I did not plan that at all. I wanted to move to a big city, but I didn't know it'd be London, where I felt like I'd be living in my home. It's a home away from home. So absolutely met all my expectations. As you can see, I am just completely gushing over it. Number 9, how did this trip change your perspective on your life? I just covered that in the last question a little bit, but I am less quick to judge, which is amazing, because you should not judge people because you don't know their full story. Even in politics, I would say, politics, it's pretty heavy out here in America in a way where everyone's always talking on Twitter or in the news. I'm not sure if that's just my experience from living here, and I didn't really watch the news in London. But I guess if I lived there and I was a localer around England, I would probably know more UK politics, but it makes you broaden your perspective in a way and realize that everyone's perception is through what they have experienced and how they grew up, and it's very different. People grew up very differently than compared to the US. So, and then also you get to reflect on how appreciative you are from where you are from and where you live and the things that you have and the things that you grew up having. And it just makes you really grateful and appreciative. Life is too short to care about what people think about you. And it also just goes to show you, I learned that people all around the world aren't different than us. They're not that different. Yeah, they're maybe different in accents, languages, skin color, whatever it is, but we're all human beings and we all love and we all care. And really, once you sit down and talk to someone that you don't even know, who's from a different place than you, who grew up differently than you, who speaks different languages than you, it is really cool to see the similarities. So number 10, this just like keeps getting to the point right here. Could you see yourself living in Europe full time? Yes, I could, from my experience right now. Now, I never want to say never, and I never want to plan something, because I have learned that it is not my plan at all. It is God's plan on what He wants for me. So I personally, if I could choose, yes, I would live in Europe full time. Also, it's in a season, so this is my season. I'm not sure about a family, raising a family there. Who knows? I would be open to the possibility to living there. I think it'd be really cool. But I also really love America, and Georgia is a really great state and amazing. So I'm open to a lot of possibilities, and I don't want to just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing, I'm moving to Europe. and that's where I'm raising my kids, that's where I'm having my family. Things change, things happen. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but if I had to choose and I had to answer this question right now in the circumstance, the season, everything I've experienced right in this moment, yes, I would move to Europe full time. Number 11, what is your favorite memory from your time in London? Oh geez. We had some fun, my friends and I, but let me try to think. My favorite memory by myself was I had a long day. I was going about the city. I decided last minute, like when the sun went down and it was the nighttime, to go see Big Ben in the London Eye in the city at night. And I haven't done that yet. It was like the beginning of the study abroad program. I just got chills thinking about it. It was such a beautiful sight walking across that bridge at night. It was beautiful. And I had just a moment there where I was like, wow, I am in London by myself right now, experiencing this, and never would I ever think that I would be here if I looked back 5 years ago. And it was just a really pretty moment. So that was one of my favorite moments. The next favorite moment, these are all at night, which is kind of weird. I have a lot of favorites, but if I had to choose and share a story, one of them was, it was me, Jen, and Sophia. We went and had drinks at the Ivy Asia in Chelsea. They closed down. We had a little photo shoot inside because it's such a beautiful layout. If you haven't been to the Ivy Asia in Chelsea, definitely go. And then we left. We were busing home. If you are busing home really late at night, you know that the buses only come every so often. So we had a lot of time just to hang out and goof around. One of the bus stops was near Trafalgar Square. So when we stopped there, we had 25 minutes to spare until the next bus came. So we walked to Trafalgar Square at around 1:30 in the morning, and we were just goofing around. We did a fun flash photo shoot with my camera that I'm recording on. And it was just one of those moments where I took a step back and I told myself, remember this moment, because this is so fun and it's just with some of the best people, and it was just super random and super fun. Question number 12, my favorite part of studying in London, I would say the city. The city is amazing, it's so lively, and there's always something to do. And the traveling also is super convenient and super easy. It makes it easier to travel around Europe. Number 13, what made you want to apply for the master's in London and move there? I fell in love with London. And on my career path, I am wanting to start a business in the fashion industry, and I wanted best of both worlds. So I looked up master programs in London. I found this specific niche one that I got accepted in, and also it's a 1-year program, so I can live in London and pursue the exact thing that I was going to pursue either way. But I also get a 2-year work visa after I complete my master program, so if I decide to stay in London, I have the opportunity to job search in London after my master program. The next question is, what place did you love the most in the UK? One of my favorites was, Brighton was a really cool beachside town, so I really enjoyed that. But I also loved Canterbury and Dover. What was your favorite class you took in London? My favorite class I took in London was the British Youth Culture class. We learned a lot about pop culture, David Bowie, the Spice Girls, comparing many other artists to America and how American culture really influenced the British identity for a while. But then we also talked about how the British identity tried to get away from American culture and branch out on their own and to make their own identity. So it was a really cool class, and the teacher was really fun. Next question. Sydney, I know you asked this question. Nando's or Wagamamas? If I had to choose right in this moment right now, Nando's. Absolutely. Sophia's probably watching this too and like, yes, like Nando's is the best. But Wagamamas, I love you. I love Wagamamas too. I didn't even know what it was. If you go back to my first London video ever when I first came here, we were talking with some British locals and I asked her what her favorite place was and she says Wagamamas. And I just start laughing because I'm like, what is that? It sounds so British, but shout out because that is one of the best Asian chain places. So good. What are your thoughts on Europe / the places you visited? I loved all the places I visited. Definitely go back and watch those specific vlogs when I was traveling. They are super fun and they pretty much explain everything I did when I was traveling at those places. I would have to say that Lake Como, Italy was my top place. It was so romantic. So romantic. I cannot wait to bring my boyfriend back and to plan a trip to go to Lake Como, Italy with him. And I want to have my wedding there. I want to have everything there. If you go watch the Lake Como vlog, the Villa de Balbianello, totally butchering that. Beautiful. It's where Anakin and Padme got married in Star Wars, where they filmed it. I mean, absolutely breathtaking. And I am going to get on one of those wooden boats, and my husband and I, we are going to boat away at the end of the wedding, and we are going to go on a honeymoon around Europe. Yeah. Is the course taught similar in London to Georgia? In Georgia, we have more tests, more quizzes, but the courses that I took in London, it was more essay based. So you just write essays throughout the semester. At the end, some of them you'll take a larger test, but mostly I did essays. How did you and all of your friends meet? We all met through the program. They linked us up. We created a GroupMe, or I created the GroupMe, and then added everyone into it. We all just met up and we just continued hanging out. So that is how we met. The next question, what were your fave foods in Europe that you can't get at home? That's a really good question. Digestives. Digestives we can't get at home, but are really yummy. They're those cookies. I'm trying to think of other things. We don't have Nando's, we don't have Wagamamas. Some of the best food I had too were the tapas in Portugal. So yummy, so good. You cannot find that here. The croissants in London are really great. I know they're better in France and other places, but they are really good compared to America. Any food recommendations? Wow, more food. Am I a foodie? Is that like the brand on YouTube that I didn't know I have, or that I'm exerting? Maybe. Food recommendations. Nando's. Go to Nando's. Also, one of the best meals I had too was Toki. It was so good. Definitely a nice dinner place. What places do you have on your list to visit when you're back that you haven't seen yet? That's a really great question. So I don't have a list yet, but here are a few places that I know I want to go to. I want to go to more places in Italy, go to Milan, the Amalfi Coast, Rome. I want to go to Switzerland. Don't know which place in Switzerland yet, but I know I want to go to the Alps. I want to snowboard in the Alps. I also want to go to Prague. I didn't get to go to Prague with my friends. A few of them went and I just didn't go. I also want to go visit my friend Kennedy in Germany. Hi, Kennedy. I want to go to Amsterdam. I haven't been to Amsterdam, and there's just so many places I do want to go, and hopefully I'll be able to visit all these places throughout my time living in London. What is your favorite park in London so far? Regent's Park, but also love Kensington Gardens. That is beautiful. I have a few reading spots, so I would have to say Kensington Gardens and Regent's Park. Would you consider London walkable? Looking for a new location? Yes, London is very walkable. If we put in directions on City Mapper and it says anything 45 minutes or less, we are walking. It's so easy to get around the city, and it's super cheap with public transport. Where would your ideal area be to live in London if money wasn't a factor? Notting Hill is adorable, and Hampstead Heath is so beautiful too. I'd also say Mayfair. Mayfair is really nice. So those three areas. Next question, do you feel your style has changed since living in London? Yes and no. My style has been able to explore itself being in London. I have pushed my boundaries and have really branched out of my shell in a way to where I can easily express myself. I feel like I can express myself better out there when I put together my clothes and outfits. And I feel like it's more normalized to look different in London, and there's so many more thrifting and vintage shops that have pieces that you cannot find in America. So yes, I feel like my style has changed, but then again, I feel like I've always been the same. in a way. I love dressing up in London. I cannot wait to get back to put more outfits together and to create more content and just to get the ball rolling again. My style is a little bit different when I'm in Georgia because it's a different vibe. I'm on the lake, so it's more lake life. It's more southern. I like my style better when I'm out in London, but I have been challenging myself to dress up when I am in Georgia, or to still put together outfits and to really push myself on my boundaries with style. Yeah, that's my answer. You live in such a nice place, have loads of great friends and family, and seem to be having so much fun. Why London instead? I just want to say I am so appreciative of my time here and my life here and my family, friends. I have it perfect here. I am having so much fun, but YouTube and everything I show is not my full life. And I do have bad days, or days where I'm not doing anything and I'm not with my friends, I'm just by myself. It's slow and boring. Some parts of life are slow and boring, and that's okay. I'm starting to appreciate those days and those moments. But London, I don't even know how to explain it, but when I'm there, there is a new me, and there's an inspiration and a feeling I get. I just feel more passionate there. It's new. It's something I haven't explored before. And I feel like that's any kind of situation where you're living in your hometown, you have everything beautiful. People can look in on your life, look at your life and be like, wow, it's perfect, it's amazing. But not until you're at your hometown and you have to explain, well, I just want to challenge myself. I want to go to a new place I haven't been before. I want to go to create new memories in new different places, challenge myself. And I feel like London gives me that. London challenges me to be a better person, a better fashion icon, a better social media content creator. It gives me new ideas, it gives me new inspiration, and I just want to say I do not take my life here for granted. I appreciate everything that I have here and everything that I have built with family and friends, and the lake life. I love the lake. It's beautiful. But for me right now, in my 22-year-old state of mind, I am very ambitious and it's not enough. I just want more. I want more passion. I want more drive. And I feel like London is such a busy and happening city. It pushes you. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you go for things that you can't get that inspiration here when you're here in Georgia in a small town. So that's, if I could answer it, that's how I would try to explain it. I don't know if I explained it that well, but yeah, so that's my answer for that. Can you comment on how differences in portion size and amount of walking affected your weight and appetite? Did you find it easier to stay in shape in London? My workout routine was not the same in London as it is here. I am back actually in my Pure Barre classes, and I will do my Pelotons I'll switch off those, and I will be cooking. I cook egg whites in the morning. I have my whole schedule in a way. Being in London, it was tricky trying to figure out where I can get my nutrients from and what I can cook, if it will taste the same, all that kind of stuff, and finding a workout community that I really enjoy and love being at. Still haven't found that yet, but I'll keep you updated on that. They don't have Pure Barre out in London, so I tried a few bar places, but it just didn't feel right. I'll probably still go back. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it just didn't feel like Pure Barre. So I would say walking helped a lot to keep the exercise up. I'm still on my health journey on figuring out how to be healthy and stay healthy within my body and make myself feel good. The last question, were you able to choose the dorm you stayed at, or was it assigned to you? The dorms, yes and no. We had two options to choose from. One of them, it was a little bit nicer. You shared one room with another person, so there's two twin-size beds. And then the other option, it was not as updated, but you also got your own room and your own single bed. I opted in for that dorm situation. I lived at Piccadilly Court on Caledonian Road. So if you want to look into that, research it, that's where I lived. It wasn't terrible. I had 5 other flatmates. We shared a kitchen, but I had my own bathroom and my own bed. And I also give you a room tour over Piccadilly Court in one of my goodbye videos of London. So definitely hop back to that if you want to see what it looks like and you're looking into housing, student housing in London. That's about it. I hope I answered all of your questions, and I am so grateful on my time studying abroad, living in London, and traveling around Europe. I cannot wait to go back. So I'm going to try my hardest to be in the moment and enjoy Georgia and all the fun things that I will be doing this summer, which I will bring y'all along with. So stay updated. Very excited for it. I have maybe 86 more days until I get on a flight and go back to London. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Shout out to my roommate, Valeria. Can't wait to live with you. So excited about our flat. So that's the update. Thank you so much for following along and listening to me talk about my experience. If you have any other questions, comment down below. I'm going to be going through and trying to answer all the questions. Be patient with me. I will get down to your question or comment. Thank you so much again for following along. My name is Izzy Bisges, and stay tuned for the next vlog. I'm very excited to share my Georgia summer with you. It will be a little bit different than my time in London if you have been following along with that. But nonetheless, stay tuned. Thank you again for following along. Love y'all. Bye.